Hey, what's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of SimplyPodLogical, a simply not logical podcast.
Guess who's back? Back again. Simply and Ben are back. Tell a friend.
Christine, I have a confession.
What?
I'm not back.
You're still on the beach?
I'm still, in my mind, I'm still on a beach.
On an island.
Drinking, private island.
Pina colada.
Private villa. Private pool.
Well, you know who's glad you're back, other than our listeners? Zyler.
Do we want to get into
Yeah,
that?
the cats have been obsessed with us. They will not let us leave their sites. Ben goes to get coffee for like 2 seconds, and Zyler's like, "Rawr!" Like,
Yeah.
Where'd he go? How dare you leave? You must return.
Yes. So we're talking about our we took a vacation.
Round of applause.
Clap
Everybody.
to
Round
us.
in the comments, please. Thank you. Yeah.
Please congratulate us for taking a vacation.
It's been many years. Yep.
Too many. When was the last real vacation we had?
Banff.
Banff. So that
Well,
was
okay.
Banff.
Like, we've gone to Montebello, which is just like a couple hours
Does not
from
count.
us. Why doesn't that count? That's still like a reprieve.
Because going for like a weekend getaway isn't a true vacation.
Okay, I guess it
There's-
depends on your definition, but we've definitely like been.
There's levels to this game.
All right, so we haven't been on a full level 10 vacation
Level
since
10.
Banff. But to be fair, a lot of people.
No, this wasn't a level 10 vacation.
What was this?
Level 10 vacation is like I'm going to the moon.
So no one.
Level 9 is like I'm gonna live in Bali for 3 months.
Is that a vacation or just moving? That just sounds like moving to me.
Depends if it's for tax purposes or not.
Okay, all right. You've been investigating some tax havens, I see.
So the last, I don't know why, Mark. The last vacation we went on that was like more than just a couple days away was a winter trip to Banff.
And that was, I think, 5 or
It's
5 years
2018
ago.
or 19, I think.
But a lot of people haven't been on vacations as much as they
Sure.
were because COVID fucked everything up. So just, yes, acknowledge that.
Yeah. There's extenuating
Yeah.
circumstances, and don't get me wrong, I love that trip, but it was also like
Cold.
staying
It's
in
a different
Canada.
kind of vacation. You got to do a little bit of both.
It's been a long time and a long time coming to actually go somewhere like warm and very cliche sort of beach.
Yeah.
Get a
the
sunburned
cliche
vacation.
Canadian tourist traveling south to sit on the beach and sip pina coladas. I used to go to Florida quite often, at least once a year, because my grandmother lived there. So I was very much kind of sort of used to that because it became just like a family thing to go see grandma every year. But ever since COVID, she moved back here to Canada permanently. And there's just never really been a
So
reason,
now
I guess.
now we don't visit her anymore.
Well, no, she's in Canada.
I'm kidding. Yeah, so when we started talking about wanting to take this vacation at least a couple months ago, people might remember we did a stream where we were doing quizzes. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah. The Sporkle quizzes
Sporkle quizzes.
on my stream.
And we were kind of playing a game, but I took it very seriously. And it was like the more quizzes I won would increase the budget of our vacation. I'm just kind of kidding. I didn't take it seriously. But like in that
you
stream, we got into a sort of debate about like how could you get like a private villa or a private pool
Like, how much would it be to get a
without
private
spending
villa?
like a stupid amount of
yeah.
like Kylie Jenner money. You know what I mean? I'm not Kylie Jenner.
Yeah, we're not spending $20,000, to rent an
Exactly.
island.
But
I don't know how much it is.
But the reason we ended up at this hotel, I mean, like there were two main factors. One is we just wanted like a nice beach
Yeah,
and a hot
just
place.
what was our criteria? Our criteria was hot, warm, same time zone, south, which is a lot of options. You know, we're in the Ottawa, Toronto, Florida time zone. And south of there, there's tons of Caribbean islands.
Yeah.
So, and we didn't want lots of families with children. So we weren't going to go during a busy season. We didn't want to go somewhere where it was, spring break and there was a lot of teenagers either. We really wanted just peace, quiet, but beach, ocean, just a little bit of ocean. Not too crazy though, not too windy. We weren't interested in doing wild water sports, but we also wanted to enjoy the beach and the humidity. I love the humidity.
good for your
It's so
skin.
good for my skin. It's for medical purposes, of course.
You said a lot of factors, but when I was looking, the two main things I were thinking of was being able to taste nice aesthetic pictures
For Instagram. You're going to start up your Instagram now.
Yeah, for me.
Guys, announcement. Ben will post on Instagram for the first time in 3 years.
For reasons I cannot explain, we wanted to be able to taste nice pictures.
Oh, other reasons.
And selfishly, because of that conversation we had about villas, I was like, where could we go where we could get very private, nice accommodations that feel very luxe
without
spending a fortune.
Kylie Jenner money. Yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up going to the Dominican Republic.
Woo.
Woo.
In Punta Cana.
Yeah, Cap Cana specifically, a little community.
Cap Cana in Punta Cana.
And yeah, it was a resort called Eden Rock.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Yeah. They were nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We should leave a review on TripAdvisor. They did ask that. Like,
yeah. Well, they upgrade. I don't know if you want to get into this right away, but like one thing about this resort or hotel is that a lot of the accommodations you get your own. I don't know if you want to say villa or you're just like your own little home.
You get your own like small one bed. Well, not small. I don't know. Guess depends how you define that. But like a 1 bedroom with a couch and your own washroom and an outdoor shower. And a lot of them had small pools. Which is we're like, okay, like let's do that. Yeah,
so for about like $1,000 a night, you got your own little villa and private pool, little garden area, private. They get like when you check in, they give you a golf cart. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the best parts of the trip.
It reminded me a lot of Florida, like aesthetically, just that little section of little villas, because there's just the streets were like covered in palm trees, you know, crossing over the road. Everyone was riding golf carts and everything was quite nice, quaint, light colors. It just reminded me of like, I don't know, not growing up, but like when I used to visit my grandmother, it kind of had that vibe.
Yeah, even like the golf cart being just beside a golf course.
So
there's some Florida
the resort
vibes.
had its own large golf course, which explains why there was golf carts, but it also explains, I think, how the grounds were so big that it was kind of fun for us who aren't golfers, but they give you a golf cart by default by staying in one of these remote villas that you can just drive around the whole property in the golf cart, which was like kind of an unexpected fun adventure.
Yeah, it was like a 5-minute drive on the golf cart from our accommodations to like the main beach area. So it was fun just to sort of bomb around, and we totally took we just like went onto the golf course. Just like
yeah, there wasn't that many people there golfing or otherwise, which is great.
Because it's like the end of April. Time.
Yeah. But we went at sunrise. We woke up at like 5:45 in the morning to catch the 6:10 a.m. sunrise. We did that twice.
Should we go do you want to go chronologically? Yeah, let's go chronologically. Like, from flight and everything?
We'll be sharing photos for those listening on audio. Maybe you want to watch this one on YouTube because
on OnlyFans?
Yeah, I made a slideshow.
Exclusive photo slideshow.
Oh, the flight. Okay, let's start with the flight. Yeah.
Okay, I love Ottawa. There's a lot to like about Ottawa, but one thing that's a real kick in the dick is the lack of direct flights places.
Yeah.
That mostly hurt us on the way back when we missed a connection. We'll maybe talk about that later. But yeah, even on the way down, the trip got to a bit of a rocky start for me just because we had to wake up at 3:30 in the morning.
To catch a 6 a.m. flight.
Now,
we could have got a later one, but then the connecting flight had to be later, which would have snowballed into us arriving like very late in the Dominican Republic. And ultimately, we wanted to be able to get there with a little bit of daylight, so...
That is how time works.
That's how time works. But because 2 flights, it really fucks it up because you have to wait before each flight. It's not just the length of the flight, it's the waiting.
But yeah, and it's in retrospect, I don't think I'm ever going to choose a flight this early again if we don't have to. We've been staying up later. Like, really? Well, you were, yeah.
I was excited. It was like...
Usually the excitement can get you through, but I felt like really awful that whole first day.
I'm pretty sure you slept on the plane, and I think I have a picture.
You did take pictures of me sleeping. That's great. I love when people take pictures of me sleeping.
It's fine. You know me.
Also, like, I can't complain too much. We did fly business class. People will notice if they see these pictures. So you get one of those seats that, like, actually... We were on a plane big enough that those seats actually went down flat, which is pretty cool.
On some of the flights. There was one flight where it didn't go flat.
Well, yeah, like the Ottawa, Montreal, or Toronto flights won't do that because they're tiny. You could just lie in the aisle and someone might yell at you, but...
Could try that.
The lie flat seats, pretty nice.
I tried to sleep. I think I slept for like 20 minutes.
You're too excited.
On the ride home. But yeah, I don't know. I can't sleep.
Didn't you order a mimosa?
I did because I was trying to get pictures of it.
Last thing I remember before falling asleep was you ordering.
It
a
was
drink.
for photos. You'll understand
you don't have
later.
to apologize
But,
for getting a drink
no,
on
but
a plane.
I would not have ordered that.
Oh, it was just for the gram, just for the aesthetic.
Yeah. I was like, come on, man, I need like a champagne. But then it ended up not looking like a champagne glass. It just looks like a glass of orange juice. So.
This will sound very precious, but like I can't sleep in just like a chair or like a normal seat, I would say. Like I've done flights from Australia to Canada where you're like 14, 16 hours on one leg of a flight in economy and you're just like awake the whole time. And that's just hell on earth to me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we flew comfortably. That was nice.
The total flight, it's only like 40 minutes.
It was only a 4.5 hour flight or something.
Oh, sorry. Because first we flew to Montreal. That's like 20 minutes. On back, we flew from Toronto. It's like 40 minutes. So that's not a long flight. But the added time of waiting for twice, to board a plane is like exponentially higher. But the actual flight from our connecting point to the Dominican was only 4 hours or something, right?
Yeah, just a little more than 4.
Yeah, I was just taking pictures out the window the whole time. There's a lot of ocean.
There's a lot of ocean.
There's a lot of waiting for something to take a picture of.
Well, when was the last time you flew? I guess Banff, right? Would have been the longest.
Banff, which was the other side of Canada.
Or when we go to like LA and
yeah.
Well, that's been a while.
That's been a while, but yeah, that's even longer. Going to LA is a lot further than it was for us to go.
Have you ever been on a flight longer than
to LA? No.
4 or 5 hours?
No.
No.
Well,
You've never been
6
across
hours?
an ocean?
I feel like it was 6 hours to LA.
What was 6
Between
hours?
5 and 6 to get to LA from here.
I don't think it's that long.
No, I just remember it being a lot longer than going south here, like we did.
Maybe it just feels that way. You lose the way you lose time.
Yeah, that's awful. I
always
hate that.
sort of fucks
I really
you up.
don't like that switching time zones.
Wow. So like, if we wanted to go to London, get some tea,
London,
England. We
England.
got an invite to the king's.
No, we didn't.
He's getting a crown on his head, coronation. We got an invitation
That's
to
right.
Coronation
No,
Street.
we didn't.
Didn't we?
Did you get invited? Because I didn't get
Well,
invited.
after all the real celebrities turned it down, they started inviting YouTubers, I heard.
Shut up.
Zoella's going to be
They're
there.
inviting Canadians?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
we're in the
because we're
Commonwealth.
we're basically related. Or whatever.
They're all related. It's inbreeding.
No, I mean the monarchy.
Yeah,
Shut
I know.
up.
The monarchy's
We
all...
have, no, because we have their money. Never mind. Like, I mean, they're on our money.
So wait, you're... Okay,
Anyways.
what is it, like an 8-hour flight to London, I want to say?
Is that it?
Yeah.
But how many connections?
It'd have to be from Montreal or Toronto.
Okay.
Do you think you could do that? 8 hours?
I don't know. I'm scared. We just got back from one vacation, man.
I'm
Chill.
already talking
I
about
know.
the next one.
Relax.
No, like, do you have a fear of flying? Or, like, the longer a flight is, do you feel more anxious about it?
I am generally fine. Like, I can sit on a plane and not, freak out or need drugs or whatever. Like, I'm okay. I know people like that, but,
good,
like,
yeah.
I'm okay. And I can take pictures out the window and it's fine. I just get anxious when the entire travel time gets too long. And it's like, okay, now it's another hour. Now it's another hour. Now it's going into the next day. And that the whole experience of that, just like, I only have a certain threshold for that level of travel stress. And I feel like at a certain number of hours, it starts to peak,
Yeah, often these flights that go across oceans are often like overnight. Like,
So you're supposed to sleep.
they expect you to kind of like sleep or treat it as if it was
Except
overnight.
I don't think I've ever slept on a plane for longer than like, oops, I fell asleep for 20 minutes.
No?
Yeah, I can't do it.
Okay. Well, we'll find out.
Oh my God. Apparently
All right,
I'm being
so
kidnapped.
we got to the Dominican Republic. Bit of a rocky start, okay? We got out of the airport. I'd arranged for a car,
Oh yeah.
but some guy just tried to
yeah.
trick me into thinking he was our car service.
I forgot that this happens. I have been to the Dominican Republic 15 years ago. It was for my dad's like 50th or something. We went on a family trip. But I do remember now, and like you will read about it, that you do just have to be prudent and aware that there is a lot of hustling that goes on. Like locals will try and ask, they'll like try and do a favor for you and then expect money. Just a lot of that we're just not used to in our current environment in Ottawa, Canada. That does not happen.
So yeah, and I feel like I was aware of that, and I'm not like a rube. I don't think I'm an obvious mark to people. I don't know. Maybe I look like a dad.
Well, you're white, so there's that.
There's that.
Automatic tourist.
What the only reason like I briefly spoke to this, okay, there was a guy wearing an Air Canada shirt
Yeah.
who basically was like the first point of entry into like trying to convince me. The whole thing was kind of bizarre.
So we flew Air Canada, which is like one of the biggest airlines in Canada.
Yeah, but this isn't about any specific airline. I'm just saying, like,
that's
the guy
why you
looked like
trusted
he was
him.
wearing some sort of official thing and said, talk to that guy. And that guy was like, I've got your car here. And I'm like, you're not what we were expecting based on...
Because the hotel provides their own car
Yeah.
service directly, and we knew the name of the hotel, and this guy was not that. But
Just
and a
some
guy
guy.
dressed in an official Air Canada gear was like, go that way to like my friend.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Yeah, very misleading.
Anyway, so we found the guy who we had actually arranged a car with, and but yeah, that sort of like threw us off at first.
But
and it was
as soon
also
as that
like
happened,
raining.
I
and-
remembered. I'm like, oh yes, okay. I just kind of forgot about this, but you do have to think about these things.
It
more,
was
yeah.
fine, but it was also like raining. It was a weird start to the trip.
And then
be
when we
honest.
got there, because we took such early flights, we had to wait for the room to be ready.
Yeah, which is
Whatever. but-
not on the hotel, right? It's just we got there early, and yeah, and I wasn't feeling well. I thought I had, like, when I had a drink when we were first waiting at the hotel for the room to be ready, I thought, like, fuck, did I just drink water that's making me sick or something? Because I felt really bad the first few hours we were there, to the point where I'm like, did I just ruin our entire vacation? Like, am I just going to be sick in the room for the next 4 days?
But you were fine.
Ultimately, really fine. But I went to bed at like 8 p.m. that
Yeah.
first night, and we just slept. Well, and then we woke up for sunrise.
Yeah, we woke up at like, or I woke up at like 5 something a.m.
Yeah,
fun.
and it felt good. So So do you want to talk about the room? So that
Yeah,
first
so
room.
the first room was, they have like a few dozen of these little villas that kind of all have their own little parking lot for their golf cart. And, it felt very private. So like you wouldn't never hear someone through the walls, for example, like in a standard hotel.
Yeah, you don't share a wall.
Yeah.
You're in your own little 1-bedroom villa with your own like small plunge pool in the backyard. There's a garden around there. It was nice and quiet.
It was so nice. Like, yeah.
This
it was
place
so cute.
isn't technically adults. It's not adults only. There were families there, but I think when the accommodations are so private and it wasn't too busy in general in
Good point.
the general areas, that wasn't a problem, because we're typically people who probably would pick adults only.
Yeah, and we looked into that, but there was just less options, right? So I think ultimately we decided this one seemed more safe, even though they allow families with children, because it was more private to begin with. So even if there was families, like, you may not notice them because you can hang out in your own backyard, and also because it's not all-inclusive, which is kind of a strategy. I talked about this on stream, but I think it's interesting. So I used to, when my family would go to resorts, we'd always do an all-inclusive, because that was kind of the like, well, duh. Obviously, you want free drinks, unlimited food, and you don't want to have to think about it. It is the more desirable, I don't have to worry, and it feels like I'm getting more value option. Absolutely. I think now that we're like kind of old and like not drinking
old
that
now.
much, like I'm not going to the bar, getting endless drinks and having it not charge me anymore. So because that's not a value to us personally, and unlimited food not really either, we intentionally picked a not all-inclusive resort because it does attract a different type of customer who maybe isn't that spring breaker or family trying to get the biggest value out of drinks or food.
Yeah. I totally agree. And we had a few drinks.
Yeah.
But nothing to make that the priority for booking a trip.
It's just a value assessment, and we picked this. It was also the end of April, which generally means like way less busy at these resorts.
Kind of like shoulder season, right?
But it was still beautiful weather, like the same weather that you'd have in February.
Well, the weather only gets too hot in the summer.
I didn't think it was too hot. I thought it was perfect.
Oh yeah, no, it was still great. I think
Yeah.
less people go because it just becomes nicer where they are.
Or it's they don't have March break or spring break or February, whatever it is.
And it's not like we were escaping winter at this point. Like, it was cold and rainy in Ottawa, but it's not like it was snow, wind chill warning.
I think this is a good strategy, though, in future planning to tropical destinations or like beach destinations, to pick a season that is strategically not when most people are going, but it's still very enjoyable during that time.
I don't know if
No, you want to go during spring break?
obviously I don't want to go like during spring break. Actually, I never did a spring break trip, so maybe I could do that in my 30s.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just me and the college kids. Spring break. No, but I guess the only pushback I'd have, like, I totally agree with like skipping, not overlapping with like actual March break.
But in the States, don't schools change it? So there's like a different week for different schools.
There's a range. But I'm just saying I wouldn't never go to a warm destination for all of winter just because people might be there. It's a combination of
factors. So if you're going during that time, you would be way less likely, I think, to pick an all-inclusive, right? Because you know that's exactly the category of people who will be there during that time. So it's just like a couple factors in the strategy.
Drunk students? Is that mainly what we're trying to avoid?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I did that. I was a drunk student when I went with my family. And I was like, all-inclusive.
No judgment. I would be more worried about kids. I just don't want screaming children around, you know?
Well, you could ensure that by doing adults only, which we looked into, but I don't think we needed it. Like the experience with this one, because of the privacy and because of the shoulder season, like even going to breakfast, there was like just a couple other tables of people.
Yeah, the only screaming baby was on the flight, right?
Yeah.
Is that the flight back?
They were on both. There's one on the way down, but
I must have slept through it. I don't remember that.
Oh, well, that's nice for you.
Well, they're in the back. You could hear them?
Yeah.
Yeah, because on the way home, there was one like really close to us,
like 2 seats in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, they probably felt bad about it. But you know what? Should we want to get it? This is probably like an unpopular opinion or a hot topic, right? When I see people traveling with a baby clearly hates being on a plane. Define
how old baby.
If you have to be held and cradled, you're a baby.
Does a 2-year-old need to be held?
Maybe sometimes.
Someone answer that. What if you're 40 pounds?
Saying, a child is getting nothing out of this trip. Sorry, a baby is getting nothing out of this trip. Baby's not going to remember being
a baby who can't retain memories yet. Just put it that way.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like childcare options are open to everyone or everyone has like a grandparent you could leave a baby with for a few days or something, but it always strikes me as a little strange when you see people traveling with very young children to like...
Babies, not children.
Babies. Yeah. To like vacation spots. It would be one thing if it's like, hey, I want my baby to meet their uncle, so I took them on a plane. But it's like, you were at a resort for a few days with a baby. Baby's not going to remember anything. Why is the baby there?
You do it for you because you want your baby there, and then you can take pictures with the baby.
Do you want your baby there, or you just had nowhere to put your baby for a few days?
I mean, I think you still have to pay for your baby.
No, but do you think they want their baby there, or they just didn't have someone they could leave the baby with?
I mean, I think parents who like being parents want their babies with them, but they want it so like they can be like, my baby's here, or whatever.
But what about what the baby wants?
The baby doesn't fucking know what it wants.
You think the baby wants to be in Punta Cana?
I think babies probably, like if you ask a doctor who's done studies on this, babies maybe don't like planes because ear popping. That's why they scream, right? It's probably not a good time.
Yeah. Did you see a clip recently? This is such a tangent. There's a viral clip lately of a guy who's complaining about a baby screaming on a plane.
And then he started screaming.
So he's screaming, and the people where the flight staff are just like, "Sir, you have to stop screaming." He's like, "Well, the baby's not. The baby's not going to stop."
Brilliant.
And it was awesome.
I saw that, and someone else, like someone wrote a comment, like, "Listen, this guy just said what everyone else was thinking, but no one else wanted to say it."
No one else is thinking that way. No, it's a baby. Other baby can't control it.
No, I just mean, sorry, I meant the upset at the fact that the baby was screaming for that long.
Oh, yeah.
But the behavior of that adult was unacceptable.
People have, I think, kind of forgotten how to behave on planes a little bit in the last few years, too.
People or babies?
But no, the people. Babies were always bad.
Babies are always screaming.
Babies always should have been banned from flying, air travel. But now you've got more and more people who should be banned from getting on planes.
Like who? Anyone who makes any noises, really.
I mean, obviously with the proliferation of cell phones, maybe we're just seeing way more recordings of this. But I feel like it's also a real increase we're seeing of people just like being total assholes.
There must be data on this, like number of planes landed or clients removed from plane due to disruption. There's got to be this data somewhere. Although internationally, it's probably really fucking messy and not standardized.
Like we're talking about the methodology of the statistics.
I'm just like, this data must exist.
I'm saying anecdotally based on seeing random clips show up on Reddit or Twitter, social media, it seems like there's so often you're seeing people having to be dragged off planes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even that they're being like totally belligerent or crazy, but like people just like don't want to defer to like the authority of the airline at all in some cases. Sometimes it's like, hey, you just need to like put your seat up before we take off. And people just being like, no, I'll do whatever the fuck I want. And it's like, what happened to people just listening to...
Didn't something like that happen with a basketball player?
I'm just saying that,
like
yeah, there's a famous football player this happened to.
Sure.
He was probably on some sort of sleeping pills to sleep through the flight.
Yeah.
It just seems like this is a broader social trend of like decline of deference to authority in general, I think.
Or just like the decorum standards have kind of changed. People are just like, this is my home now, and I bought this seat, so I can say or do whatever I want. I feel like there's more of that entitlement.
Yeah, there's more entitlement in general.
Well, welcome to 2023, everybody.
Anyway, so we got our own golf cart at the hotel.
Yeah.
And no one was going to tell me how to drive that golf cart.
So I drove it into the ocean. I drove it right into my front door.
You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, no.
Unless you can beat me in a physical fight, I don't have to listen to you. Doctor the other day was like, Ben, you need to get your appendix out.
What?
And I said, oh yeah? Take it. Come and get it.
This has never happened. Just to be clear, you don't need your appendix out.
No, but it was having your own golf cart.
It's so powerful.
I want a golf cart now.
Do you want a golf or just the cart?
I just want the cart.
It was fun. I drove it too in the sunrise. I loved it.
It was fun just bombing around this golf cart. Wind
like,
blowing in your hair. It's going on like these little joy trips. Joy rides. Joy trips. It's a joy trip.
I mean, it's also a trip.
It was a trip. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. And then
What else was fun?
What else was fun? Yeah. So we had our private pool, which was so cute and fun. But eventually...
Well, this was on the first day, right? That I'm bombing around in the golf cart. We're just cruising around. We run into the general manager, customer experience manager or something.
I was driving and I accidentally went the wrong way, and there was like cones lined up and a guard there, and I was like, oh, sorry, wrong way. Like, I forgot. So we turned around, and then the resort manager...
he had flagged you because you were...
because I was going the wrong way.
Missed the turn. And we just started talking to this guy. He asked how our stay was, and we said, like, hey, everything's great. We like our room, but I had noticed there were these bungalows right on the beach, right on the ocean. Villa. These big villas with their own like big private pools and these big decks that just like are right on the ocean. You have to see pictures to do it
right
justice.
On the ocean, as opposed to 5-minute golf cart ride up where we were initially staying.
So I just mentioned to the guy, I'm like, hey, like I've noticed it doesn't really seem like anyone's there. We would potentially be interested in upgrading a room if it happens to be available.
Basically, we were spying because we went to the pier just on the opposite side and looked over to see who was there. And we were like, there's no one there. It must be empty.
We didn't go with the purpose of spying if there were people there.
We were checking them out. We're like, wow, those are gorgeous.
Well, we were just like exploring the grounds of the hotel in general and noticed there was these really nice accommodations and it didn't seem like any of them were being used.
Just want to see if Kylie Jenner was there.
Is that what? Yes, exactly. And yeah, he was like, oh, I'll see what we can do. So like the next day, they're like, hey, the big 2-bedroom private oceanfront bungalow villa
is empty.
There's no one, like there was someone there the first night, apparently. But then for the rest of our stay, there was no one there. So they're like, hey, do you want to switch? And which is like their nicest, it is like the nicest accommodation in the hotel. So, like we had this 2-bedroom villa for the rest of the trip. They just said like, hey, just use one of the bedrooms.
Yeah. So
it's not like we needed both of them, right?
It's, I guess, designed for families. And the idea is like one of the bedrooms, which are separated, like they're 2 separate cabins, but technically under the same roof with walk around decks in between them. And one of the cabins is like a giant king bed and the other cabin is 2 double beds. So I think the idea is like
for families,
a family and then the 4 or maybe 6 of them, if 6 can stay, share this giant private pool and get to share this giant deck. But there's just 2 of us. So we didn't need the second cabin. We just slept in one. But we got the entire deck and the pool.
This giant pool to ourselves. It was amazing. Accommodations here were 10 out of 10 based on that.
We did
upgrade.
pay for the upgrade, but it was at a much discounted rate than you would have paid. Yeah.
It almost makes you wonder if, like, did someone there realize we were people?
I had no indication that they knew who we were or cared. I think
they were just being really nice?
I think it's like they have an empty bungalow. No one's there. We were kind of just asking about them, and they knew it was just two of us. Obviously, we're not going to pay the price for the 2 cabins we don't need. So they just gave us like a discount off of it, and just I think it was like $250 extra on top of our existing villa, just to go to this much more giant one.
I think they charged us the price
pool.
for, like, they had other 1-bedroom bungalows
which were occupied.
They just charged us that for the giant
even though
one.
we got like the biggest pool and the biggest place in the deck.
And anyway, it was
crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you.
It was so beautiful. And so we watched the sunrise again. I took a time lapse, or I tried with my phone.
Oh yeah.
And they had these chairs sitting out there where you could literally sit there. There's 2 chairs and watch the sunrise. And it was just like such a perfect setup because that hotel, or that side of the island rather, gets the sunrise, but not the sunset. But our positioning was like you literally saw the sun come up, and it was so pretty.
It was super beautiful.
And the pool was like so big, and it had seats on it for like a swim up bar. And I guess the idea is like maybe you could hire a bartender or someone to like, make drinks there if there's like a group of people staying there. We didn't do that, but
yeah. And the reason we're talking about this so much is because, like, let's be real, like, we didn't do this trip because we wanted to like go do like tourist activities or like,
which they had. Like, you could go on an excursion. I remember doing that 15 years ago.
Sure, but like I think we knew going into this, like, we weren't really going to be going off resort, right? Like, we were really, in my mind, this trip was about just sort of shutting my brain down for a few days, getting some sun, swimming,
getting burnt,
getting a sunburn. So yeah, like, I was totally good, especially like once we got into that even nicer villa, and like the accommodations were so cool. Like, to me, like it was like this trip was just about sort of staying in a pool, lying in the sun, and just the privacy and everything that came with that.
Yeah, I really like the privacy. Although we did go to the beach a couple times. We had to get some shots, of course, on the beach.
Like alcohol?
Yes, that's what I mean. Yes, shots of alcohol on the beach for sure. Definitely not phone camera shots. But we went to the beach a couple times. We sat down there.
For sure. We still went around.
We went really early one time at like 9 because it was after we'd watched the sunrise. And we're like, well, what do we do now? We went to the beach at like 9. There's like no one there. But it's still so warm and beautiful.
My only knock, and I've heard this about the Dominican Republic in general, food was just kind of okay. I thought some of our meals were like really good. Like, if we ordered like seafood or something, it tended to be good.
Shrimp tacos were good.
Shrimp tacos were good. You had salmon one night. That was good.
Salmon was so good.
I had some sort of pasta dish with, what was it, lobster?
Zucchini and lobster.
Oh, that, yeah.
Risotto, the lobster risotto on the beach.
Yeah, there was that. So like, I'm not saying there wasn't good food to be had, but just in general, like, sort of the breakfast and lunch options, I thought were just sort of just okay.
Yeah, I've heard that about the Dominican as well, but I'm also not someone who's like, who cares that much about the food. Like, I would prioritize
I'm not there to eat.
Yeah, but the fruit was amazing. I found myself just like wanting fruit or a banana smoothie or the guava platter or
they were
something.
big on passion fruit.
Passion fruit and guava. A lot of like the mint mojito they had was like a guava mint mojito.
It's passion fruit.
Was it passion fruit?
It's the one with it's like the seeds and the yellow goo. It's passion fruit, right? Is that guava? Someone comment below.
I feel like I had both though. No, I can't remember. Fuck. But yeah, passion fruit, guava, banana, pineapple. Those were all amazing. So delicious. So every day I was like, I need a fruit platter.
It's like the diet of lemur monkeys.
Yes, basically. I was eating like a monkey.
I did get a dessert one night.
A mushroom.
I got
a magic mushroom. Wasn't it called a magic mushroom?
So we had already had an early dinner. We travel like old people, eh? We were eating early. We are old. Okay, yeah. We got the early bird special, but later that night we were like, let's just go back to a restaurant for dinner, just for dessert. I mean,
dessert.
And on the dessert menu, there's an item. All it said was magic mushroom. And I was like, fuck it. I need to know what this is.
If it's drugs, that's fine. Let's find out.
Let's go. So they bring to the table. It looks like a mushroom from Super Mario Brothers. It's like white and red. It's like a red cap mushroom with white dots.
What's the character name? That's the mushroom. Not Yoshi. What's the name of
You think Yoshi's a mushroom?
No, not Yoshi.
It's called a mushroom. It's not a one-up. It's the...
They don't have a name?
What is just the red one called?
The mushroom.
It makes you from small Mario to big Mario.
I don't know.
It's not a fire flower.
Toad. Isn't it Toad?
Oh, Toad is also a mushroom.
Yeah, that's what I mean. How did I... Okay. You're the one who's supposed to know this.
No, but there's the power-up mushroom, and then there's like...
Toad.
These sort of living toad mushroom
Toad.
people. It's Toad?
Yeah.
It's giving Toad. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so what was it actually?
It was
Do you remember? Strawberry mousse
on top and
with white chocolate
as the stem with like an Oreo crumble around and random flowers that I'm not sure if you were supposed to eat.
I think it was like the stem of a strawberry bush. Yeah,
Maybe.
I didn't eat that part.
But you did not get high, right?
Maybe I did.
We don't know.
You'll never know.
We don't remember what happened that night. After
that night we giggled a lot and watched Donnie Darko, and it felt like the movie was 10 hours long, but then it also felt like it was not long at all.
Oh man.
So I got a magic mushroom. There were also cats. You want to talk about the cats?
I love the cats. Okay, so
I love the
this
cats.
is the most exciting part.
Best part of the trip.
I need to do more research on like where there's more cats because that's my final destination, I think. But anyways, when we were first driving in to the resort, which the gate to get to the resort is like 20 minutes away, like it's or maybe the airport was 20 minutes away, but like it's a long time once you pass the gate to finally get to the resort. Once we passed the gate, I saw cats, and we'd asked the driver like, "Oh my God, is there cats there?" And he was like, "No cats." I was like, okay.
Like we just saw
I'm
a
like,
cat.
there's one right there. He's so cute. Whatever. And then I just like ignored him. And then we got on the resort and we saw some early in the morning before there was people.
Well, that first night, do you remember? We only went to bed super
yeah.
early, but so we woke up like really early in the morning, like it's still nighttime, and we heard meowing.
Like screaming meows, yeah.
Well, kind of like, I think the sound of cats in heat. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I saw a kitten run across. I could see them in the back door. I'm like, oh my God, cat. And so I ran outside trying to find her, but she was gone.
Yeah, so like during the day, we didn't see any cats. But like
early in the morning,
super early in the morning,
when we were driving on
the
golf cart, when we went to see the sunrise,
Yeah,
I saw a couple, and at night. So I took a picture of every cat that I saw.
Yeah, you did.
If I could. I saw at least 3 or 4 cats.
Yeah.
And they were so cute. But then we asked someone else on the resort about the cats, and they also like denied it. It's like, I think.
Do you think they think it's a bad thing?
I think they do. I think they probably don't like it. I'm just going to assume because cats like, I don't know, eat people's food or whatever, or they're just like pests to them. But I'm just like, no, like, please tell me there's cats. Where are they?
And let's be real, it's not like they were all over the place,
No.
like getting in people's stuff. It was just like, if you were paying attention, you would notice there would
And
be
they were
cats.
very scurrying. Like, they were very scared cats. Like, if you even tried to go near it, it'd, like, run away. Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of look different, too, these feral
They look
cats.
a little more feral, but still so cute. I was like, I want your friend for Benji.
Yeah, they're adorable. The one other animal, we saw a big old iguana.
Like, a fucking giant iguana. Like,
Just
so
chilling.
big. Like, you could give it a hug, and it would be, like, the same size as me. Almost.
Probably shouldn't hug an iguana, but
yeah,
we didn't, to be clear.
I don't know much about iguanas. He kind of just stood there chilling in the sun and didn't really move.
I don't think they can move all that fast.
Is that it? I don't know. One of them was like licking things. So he kept going with his tongue out.
Just sticking his tongue out,
Yeah. But very cool. Apparently there was a family of iguanas, although I think we just saw one unless they swapped places. But he was huge, like so big.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
And the main resort had these like really beautiful like symmetrical pools with infinity overflows.
Like spillover.
And they were just so pretty. We never actually swam in the main pools because I guess like we didn't really need to. But it was just so nice because they were right behind the beach. So it was a really beautiful aesthetic transition from these infinity pools in the main resort down to the beach. And the beach, which had something I'd never seen before, but maybe that's because I haven't been places in 15 years. But because the hotel was like in a little enclave, like it was like a U shape, the terrain, the
like
actual,
in a bay,
yeah, it was situated in a bay. They used the end of each pier to attach what I think was like a net that was cast all the way from one side to the other side and had these little floaty things to keep it up on the surface. But I think the net goes all the way to the ocean floor, and it seemed to be filtering out like algae or seaweed or just like debris from the ocean, and that's why the beach was so
nice.
Clean.
Yeah. So the beach here was really nice, and in other places, if you look up pictures and stuff, it's often just covered in
like the natural stuff that comes from the ocean.
Natural waste coming out of the ocean. Yeah.
But I'd never seen something like that. Like, I wonder, is this commonplace, or I guess you have to be in a bay to even do this?
That's the thing. I just don't think you can really do it without having a very defined area of the beach.
So that's probably like such a prestigious thing to have in terms of land, if you can have that net, but you need to have land that can accommodate that kind of net. Anyways, the beach was
You really
beautiful.
like this net.
I just think it was so smart. I'm like, that's fucking engineering. But also, like, so many hotels or beaches, like, probably don't even have that ability, right?
Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to touch on, we have to talk about the fact we did a dinner.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The dinner on the beach. Love.
So when we were looking through, like, there's activities we could have done. Like, we were thought of for a while about going off resort because there's like a place where you could see monkeys.
Monkeys.
We were gonna go
almost
see
saw
monkey.
the monkeys.
But I was like, I didn't get, a rabies shot
Okay.
or whatever.
Well, that's not why.
Well, I don't. Well, monkeys probably. I don't know. Monkeys probably have
What
diseases.
if we could meet a boo-boo?
That's my monkey.
Okay, the real reason why we didn't go is because the travel time to get there, because they're so far off resort and inland,
It would have been like a whole
taken
day.
like an hour and a half to get there, and that's 3 hours of travel time. And you go with a group of people. It's not. Sorry, let me explain. I'm not done. You have to go with because I've done this like 15 years ago. You go with a
No,
group.
we could have just gone
from
there.
the hotel, and it's packed people in a bus for 3 hours.
We could have done it if we wanted to. It was more
Yeah.
just I think we were having a good time relaxing. So
I just wasn't looking forward to sitting on a heated bus for 3 hours.
save monkey for another time.
Anyways, yeah, we did
But
not see the monkeys.
the one sort of activity we did do was we said that way, why don't we have a dinner on the beach one night?
Yeah, they had these packages that you could look up, and it was
So, yeah.
love is in the air package on the beach. Or
Exactly.
whatever.
So like we're talking to not the concierge, they have a word for like the person that helps you plan your stay. Mm-hmm. Is it concierge? I don't know.
Probably.
Anyway, and like as soon as I brought it up, they're acting like, oh, romantic, this and that, and it's just like, yeah, we just want to have dinner on the beach. Do you think
She was
that'd
like,
be-
what are you celebrating?
Yeah.
Like, acting like she's like coy and like, ooh. It's like, I don't know, dinner?
Yeah, dinner. So we do it. What was this? The last night there, I think, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And we show up, and they've got the table lit up all pink with like lights, and
And rose
they've
petals.
spelled love and rose petals, and they're all looking at us like this probably doesn't happen all that often.
Well, the few days we were there before, no one else
had
did
done
this because we would have noticed.
Yeah, and it was just incredible. It's not like they made it feel too awkward, but it was very obvious they were all just waiting for a proposal to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then anyone who like walked by to go on the restaurant and the pier was just like looking like, oh my God.
Which is like, I don't know what we could, like, and like people are like congratulating us. And
No,
like,
because they gave me a bouquet of roses.
Yeah.
Like the guy's like, this is for you. And then I take it. And then when we left, one of the bellhop guys was just like, congratulations. And I'm like,
for eating dinner.
Eating dinner.
Do people not do this unless they're getting engaged?
No, because it costs money. Like it costs $500 to do this whole thing.
That's right. It wasn't expensive.
You have like there was 2 private waiters. You had your menu. It was on the beach. They had to set it up. Like I understand, obviously they're gonna charge.
I guess
for
not
this.
many people are doing this just for fun.
Exactly, but we're celebrating being on vacation. So that's our reason.
Yeah, that was funny.
But yeah, I liked it, although it was a little awkward.
Yeah, I don't think I would need to do it again.
It's just one of those things you do one time. Yeah. I also felt bad because I think they expect people to stay there for longer and like drink the whole bottle of champagne and drink the bottle of wine. Like he started us off with champagne, and then he's like, "What wine do you want?" And I'm like, "Wine and champagne. What the fuck is this?" A
whole bottle of champagne.
Like I'm like, I don't want any wine. And then he asked you, and you're like, "I don't want." He's just like, "What?" Like he's so confused that we didn't want wine and champagne, like a whole bottle.
Also, I wore a shirt to dinner.
Oh yeah, you did.
I wore a shirt with pineapples on it. Mm-hmm. Do we need to get into this a little bit?
Uh-huh.
Unknown to either of us, Cristine, we're a little vanilla. You know, we're not going to resorts trying to sleep with strangers. That's not really our thing.
Do most people do that?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Is that vanilla to not do that?
When you showed a picture of me wearing this pineapple shirt, which has like a pattern of pineapples on it. Some of them are upside down.
Half of them are upside down.
Yeah, that's just the pattern of the shirt. Apparently the symbol of the upside down pineapple means like you're down for like swinging or like exchanging partners on vacation.
What happens if your partner isn't wearing upside down pineapples?
So maybe I was just putting myself up for a trade.
Only yourself. But we did not know this.
Is this a widely known thing?
I mean, when I was on stream and showed this, like all the comments were like, "Oh my god, upside down
maybe
pineapples."
They're just all a bunch of freaks.
Maybe. But okay, like, do we need to sue Old Navy?
No kink shaming here, but you know, I mean, freaks in a sex positive sort of way.
Sure. I think you got this shirt from Old Navy. I think we have to ask questions.
Well, they're just trying to help people out if that's the thing they're into.
But
there should have been some sort of disclaimer. If you're selling a shirt that is a universal symbol of I want to trade partners.
Yeah.
There needs to be some sort of disclaimer.
Like a warning
there.
tag or something. Like at least.
Like wash in cold water.
And
you may be propositioned.
You may be propositioned.
Not that I'm a little insulted that no one propositioned me then.
No one was interested. Because there wasn't many people there, which is great.
It hurts my feelings a little bit.
Oh my god. Okay, Ben.
Can I not wear this shirt anymore?
I mean, half of them are right side up.
But that's sending mixed messages.
It means you're undecided.
I could be convinced.
I like that shirt. It's nice.
Yeah, so I'll keep wearing it.
Okay.
You won't think anything if I keep wearing it.
No, I didn't think anything before.
Okay. Now we will continue not to think anything.
Well, I'll just pretend I never learned of that. So if you ask me again, I'll be like, "There's just a pineapple."
It's just a pineapple.
It's fine.
Okay, I'm going to keep wearing the shirt. All right. That was our vacation.
I think
we did not swing.
No, we did not.
What else do you want?
Burn. Our sunburn. So I was pretty good, and I know I have to be with my translucent skin and, whatever. I used face sunscreen that was really good, and I did not burn on my face at all. So go me. It's very hard. But some of my body, I got like weird asymmetrical burns despite applying and reapplying after swimming. But yeah, not fun. And you got burned as well, and your ears are peeling.
It's mostly my ears and the back of my shoulders, yeah.
Yeah, and my scalp, and probably yours too. I have a line down the middle because I was wearing my hair in braids the whole time. So just the line down the middle got burned because I guess I wasn't wearing my dad hat the whole time.
Yeah, but I'm fine. I didn't get so burnt that I feel like an idiot,
Yeah, that's happened to me before, like 20 years ago. So I've just been very cautious.
For me, like I wore a lot of sunscreen that first full day we were there.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the day, I was like, I look so pale still. So the next day, I'm like, I'm going to wear a little less sunscreen.
But in his definition of a little less wasn't like a thin layer everywhere. It was like, I'm just going to gently touch one part of my chest and that's it.
So like I have a big white hole in the top of my chest and the scoop around it is all like
and your shoulders and your neck are all red.
Yeah.
Because like you never asked me to help you apply sunscreen. And did it not occur to you that you need help on your back? Because I asked you every day.
I can reach my back. I'm pretty flexible.
You can't reach your whole back, Ben.
Do you want to see?
No.
Look. I can connect my hands
Okay, we
behind
get
my
it.
back.
You're a monkey.
I'm like monkey.
Okay, but why didn't you use that skill to apply sunscreen?
I wanted to get a little bit burnt. Just a little burnt to turn into a little tan.
Okay, but if you are such a pale person and have not been exposed to the sun for years...
Guess we're going to have to go on more vacations.
But you'd have to stay there for like months to actually for your skin to truly authentically get tanned and not just burn.
That's a good suggestion. I'll see if we can fit it in the calendar.
Oh my god!
But my only real mistake was the ears.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, I just didn't put any sunscreen on my ears.
And I literally told you.
And now
I was like, Ben, did you put sunscreen on your ears? And you're like,
off my ears.
Who put sunscreen on their ears? Oh my god.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. Okay, so flight home.
Mm-hmm. Is this the complaining part?
This is Ben eating his almonds.
I don't want to dwell on the flight home because I don't want to leave a bad taste in your mouth in recollecting things.
I can still remember, all the good times.
Good times. All right. So the flight home. Do you want to get into it? We missed our flight.
Yes, but it was not our fault. So.
Sorry, we only missed our connecting flight. We flew back to Canada.
Yeah, we flew from Punta Cana to
Toronto
on the normal schedule. But when we got there...
Well, that flight was delayed.
By like 20 minutes. Not much.
A little bit more than that.
Was it? Okay. But we got to
The real delay
Toronto.
is when it landed in Toronto, actually.
And then they said, oh, there's the plane before us, or the one where we're trying
There's someone at our gate.
At our gate. So we're going to have to wait here for 10 minutes. But 10 minutes turned into 20 minutes, turned into 40 minutes. We spent 45 minutes just waiting on the plane to get off.
Tarmac.
And I'm looking at my watch like, we're going to fucking miss the connecting flight. And we always leave an adequate time for connections. We had over 2 hours.
Yeah, we had a good 2 hours for the connection if that original plane had been on
But not
time.
only was 45 minutes wasted where we were basically held hostage on the plane and couldn't get off. But they also didn't send our bags through, which meant that we had to, in the Toronto Pearson Airport, which is universally known as a shit show the last few years, meant we had to get out of the arrivals, go back to the beginning after we grabbed our bag, and start all over.
Well, no, we had to go through customs
all over again
and pick up our bag at customs. Whereas
and then go back.
My recollection is that even if you have to clear customs, they had a way of your bag just sort of passing through.
Correct.
But we had to just wait there for like half an hour or more to pick up our bag off a carousel. And then we would have had to recheck it in for that next connecting flight.
Which meant going back to the very beginning of the airport.
And leaving security and everything, yeah.
Which usually doesn't happen, especially when it's the same airline. And they kind of just say, we carry your bags through, which happened on the way down, which was not indicated when we purchased these tickets. Because I think they're supposed to indicate that like your bags will not be carried through. But that was not indicated. We only found out once we checked in. And then they were like, by the way, in the email, you have to pick up your bags. So once we saw that, and when we were delayed for 40 minutes sitting there on the tarmac, I'm like, fuck, we're missing our flight.
We got our checked bag in customs as they were ending boarding for the flight we were supposed to be on.
But also,
we would have had to get through security.
If our bags had been carried through, we would have been able to make
that plane easily.
But because the checked bag cutoff is you have to have your checked bag in at least 45 minutes before the flight takes off. That was actually impossible for us to do.
Yeah. There was we were scrambling around the airport, bouncing around terminals. There were a couple other flights that night we tried to get on, and it ultimately just didn't work. We almost got on one, but the girl was like, if you were here 5 minutes earlier, I would have done it for you. But
so ultimately, we, after missing the flight, finally getting our bag, went back to the Air Canada guy. It's like midnight at this point.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, what do we do? Because ultimately, it's not our fault. So, you expect them just to put you on the next flight, but the next flight's full. And then the next 2 flights after that are full. And finally, the flight going out at noon the next day, which was 12 hours later, had 2 spots. So
we're traveling through the air. It's magic. You're like a bird in the sky. I don't have the same perspective most people have. Like, I understand this is inconvenience and it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I hate when people complain about like the inconvenience of traveling too much, because it's just like...
Because we could have just never gone and could have avoided these.
Yeah.
Is that your point?
This is totally worth it This is just a reality. Sometimes air travel is messy.
Yeah.
I think it's totally valid to complain about like airlines dicking you around and like not compensating people for poor service or letting you book trips that like there's no way you were going to make the connection and all that. But like the fact that we had to take another plane 12 hours later, at the end of the day, whoop-de-doo. It's okay.
Yes.
Our life will go on.
I'm not saying that our life was stopped, but I think it's still valid to express frustration when you run into unexpected things like this, and including derailing the fact that we were supposed to go home that night. And instead we were kind of stranded at the Toronto airport, which no one wants to feel stranded at any airport anywhere.
Yeah, I was mostly annoyed that, so as we're doing this, okay, we'll get on the plane the next day. And he's like, okay, here's what we can do. First of all, like they don't volunteer anything, but I'm like, we have to stay here tonight, right?
Like, can you sleep in the airport?
Like they don't offer anything unless you ask for it. And I'm not blaming this guy. I'm sure there's policies and stuff. But anyway, like he's like, okay, we'll get you a hotel. And he goes, here's transportation, and here's a voucher to stay in this hotel in Brampton. That's like half an hour away. And like, I don't want to sound too snobbish, but it was basically like probably the worst hotel, like a really shitty motel that's like a half-hour drive away in no traffic. And there can be a lot of traffic around the Toronto airport. So it really did feel like it was like, hey, here's like the least possible thing we can offer you so you can sleep somewhat close to this airport. That was the really obnoxious part to me.
And I think the airport we were at is one of the largest airports in Canada, the Toronto Pearson Airport.
It is the largest.
It is the largest. And there's like 5 hotels there at the airport. So when he was like, yes, we'll give you a hotel voucher, I'm just like, okay, which of the 5 hotels
Which of the
here
airport
is
hotels
it?
is it?
And then he gives us this thing and I'm like, that's not here. And it says Brampton, which is like a half an hour away in a suburb away from the airport. And we're like, is there no availability in any of the 5 hotels here?
I guess they must have arrangements with specific hotels, but it was pretty, yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like it was another added inconvenience to ask us to travel far away when there's clearly 5 hotels right here.
There's a couple of hotels that are like, you walk out of the airport and there's a hotel.
And they're right there, which is like, that should be the reasonably expected location for you to get that accommodation.
So we just did that. And I guess if I call I haven't done this. So if I call the airline now.
We just paid ourselves for one of the hotels and whatever. Like, I think like he told me I can still call customer service and try and get a partial reimbursement. But I don't know if I want to spend 3 hours on the phone.
It's probably worth it.
For what? A $60. Because that was like the cost of the room of the 130.
Was it? No,
it was like $70 or something.
I guess that's an indication. It was like this rundown motel somewhere, basically, right?
Yeah. So do I want to spend 3 hours on the phone for a hypothetical potential
$20 an hour?
Okay, I don't envy people who work in customer service, which is another reason why I'm just like, you know what, I'm just not going to call. Like, I'm just not even, like, it's fine. Yeah. It's fine. We just paid for our hotel. I mostly just wanted to go home, you know.
Yeah, you wanted to see the cats.
And to go home was my main priority.
We wanted to get back to the kids.
Yeah. So the fact that was delayed is my biggest grievance, is the cats, seeing the kitty cats.
Zyler was very upset.
And they missed us so much. They've both been so cute since we got back. Oh, I love them. Like, obsessed with us. In the mornings now, they're like sniffing, putting their little noses in my eye. Menchie's eating my hair. Zyler's meowing, waiting for you to come back from coffee or whatever. If you leave the house for 10 minutes, he's mad.
He wasn't always, he's gotten more and more affectionate and needy as he's gotten older, to the point where it's going to be harder and harder to do trips away from him, I think.
Yeah,
I think he's clearly like traumatized. He lives for just like the moments he spends with us and the sort of routine he has, you know.
Yeah
It's tough. Where could we go? Like, this is maybe a thought, like
a cottage with the cats.
What is a vacation we could take with them? We've never taken them on a plane.
No,
and I just don't
wouldn't
know
do
if
that
that's
to them.
something.
I just feel like with their age and the fact that they've never been on a plane, I think it would be pretty awful.
Very stressful
to put them on a plane.
I think Menchie would hate it. I could see Zyler being okay with it potentially.
I don't know. Like, it's kind of like how babies hate being on planes.
Oh.
Right? Why would you do that? I wouldn't. This is what I'm saying. I wouldn't do that to my cats.
And what if Zyler just howling the whole time? We would be just like those parents with the screaming baby.
Another reason why I'm not going to do it. You know, I will just find them accommodations.
So we just need to find somewhere we could drive to.
A cottage. So back in the day when I knew people with cottages, people would bring their pets, cats and dogs, to a cottage because it was maybe only, well, depending on where you live, like a 2-hour drive, and you have a screened-in porch maybe, and then your cats can enjoy a bit of vacation that doesn't inconvenience other people on a plane or method of transportation, assuming you just drive 2 hours.
It's not like they want to be in a car a long time either, though, right?
No, but as long as it's like 2 hours or less, I feel like it's okay for... I mean, every pet is different, but I think that could be manageable for ours.
Do you think Menchie would be okay on a private jet?
Jesus Christ. I thought we said no Kylie Jenner money.
I'm just saying, hypothetically. I'm not saying we're going to get one. But is it that there's other people on the jet, or is it just about being in a metal tube in the sky?
I think we would terrify Menchie. I feel like Zyler would kind of like it. He'd probably want to get out and look out the window.
He'd be the pilot. You know?
For sure. Yeah. He'd go row to the pilot. He's like, turn this around.
Okay, so where's our next vacation then, Christine?
To a cottage with the cats. Oh. I think that's a good idea if we like rent a cottage. I don't know. We just need to make sure that it's safe and has some kind of enclosure.
I'm a little bit nervous. On one of the 1,000 Islands?
Is that a place where people have cottages? I guess so.
Yes.
Okay.
Our private island, right?
Right.
Oh, yes. We didn't tell people about that.
What?
That we got a private island.
The whole island?
Yeah.
In the Caribbean?
No, 1,000 Islands.
You bought an island?
I bought one of the 1,000 Islands.
Is there anything on it?
Now there's only 999 islands left.
Are there any resources on the island?
I was digging like Minecraft. I was like...
Oh, you bought an island in Minecraft.
In Minecraft, I bought one of the 1,000 Islands.
Cool.
There's no diamonds. I found an ender pearl. Is that what they call them? I don't know what you're talking about. I found quackity.
No dream.
I found dream.
In what language?
Spanish.
Okay. See, terminado. The podcast is terminado. That's.
Hola.
All right, everyone. No, that's hi. Hola means hello.
Adios.
Hasta la vista.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
It's terminado. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this retelling of our vacation. We are happy to be back. Ben is well rested. Look at that face. Your vibes today have just been like, I'm fucking chilling.
I've post-vacation blues a little bit. Got to be honest.
What does that mean?
Like I thought I was ready to come back, but I'm not ready to be back.
You want to go back now?
I kind of want to be back on vacation. It wasn't enough. I need more.
All right, everyone. We hope that you had a wonderful Taco Tuesday. Last Taco Tuesday, we had tacos to celebrate Tuesday. So just, always keeping you in mind.
All right, everyone. Goodbye.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see y'all later. Bye.